Couple reasons to get out at civil twilight, to get outside, is to get cold. It's chilly out. I'm just in a t-shirt, but I'm not going to get too cold before it warms up. And I think it's healthy to get too cold, just like it's healthy to get kind of hot in the sauna. And I think that the guy's named Wim Hof or something, sitting in ice water and stuff like that. A lot of people think about going to the extremes and all that, and I'm not even sure that's healthy. I think I saw an article that indicated that might not be the healthiest thing to do, and it's just too much work. Am I going to do extra work for that? No. When I can just build into my lifestyle to get too chilly. Now, I could sit out here and I get real chilly, but then the sun comes up and I get warm. And the sun gets too hot during part of the day, and I want to be outside a lot and in the sun. So if I'm going to be in the sun, I want to be in the sun at the chilliest part of the day, because just the radiation of the sun is kind of warming, or way too hot. And I got my machete with me, because it's also the best time of the day to get some outside work done. It's light enough out to work right now, just barely. And you do got to be careful with a machete, of course, so you definitely want good light. But I think I'm going to go check my south entry, and the point is, get the hell out of bed, go outside, walk around, get that chill, brisk air. Any other time of the day, you're probably trying to either avoid the hot sun or stay warm during the chilly evening when it's cold and dark. We want to use that light when it's there. Now, I don't even have a hat right now, which is very weird. It feels weird because I always have a hat when I'm outside, but the sun's not up yet, and there's some nice clouds out there that will make it get hot less quick. So I don't know that anyone needs to understand that philosophy. I don't know that this video needs to be seen by anyone. But I think the way to socially engineer that is just to have cool activities out in the forest in the morning. In other words, draw people out there. And in my case, I actually have internet, which I could use to manipulate people and draw them places, but I don't want to get them out there to just go online. So I think a hot drink would be good, because people think it's cold, right? And tell them, don't even, I could tell them, don't dress to be warm in the morning. If you're cold, move around. Walk. Or you could do some machete work, but most people have to be trained to do that and not hurt anyone. Right now, I'm checking out this area because I realized that sometimes I want to invite people over to my house, but I don't want them in my house. And it could be I could provide a space for other people to do that as well, whether it's in the morning or not. And this whole area out here is quite flat. This is near the south entry, and it's all grown over now. Has a lot more underbrush than it used to. But this would be perfect area to clear out so that I could host people in the forest without having them be at my house. This would imply putting a gate over here somewhere. For now, well, I know where I'd put it for now, I guess. And ultimately, I want to put gates all over the place. But the other thing that needs to happen out here is to clear out all this harachina. And I did bring my machete, but, I thought I would do a bunch of work and hack a bunch of this shit up. Now, I do need physical work. I need exercise. But it's a dauntingly huge space. And the thing is that this whole south side I want to develop as being relatively more public. But this is the easiest part to get to right now. And so this is the obvious one to begin with. So, I've thought about, I might want to invite people out for a barter fair. Barter fair. You can look that up. Which is like a, kind of like a garage sale or something. Everybody brings out stuff that they are willing to part with, and then they trade it with each other. And I think I don't need to make a rule about like no money or something. It doesn't have to be strictly barter. Barter's fairly inefficient. But who knows? There could even be an alternative currency just for the fair. But that would be for a more mature system probably. For now, cash is just fine. Tell people to bring change. And, I'm real hesitant to invite anyone here. But for now, maybe that's a good idea. And definitely would need the gate for that. Because I don't want people running around the rest of my property. I want to condense them into one area. And this is a big area here. So if I have some friends come over and clear all this out, clear out not all of it, but some of the underbrush, a controlled burn would be really nice. And that heals really quickly. I mean, the soil heals fast. And then probably do some bulldozer work to make a path out to a ridge over there. And there's a further view over there. There's no good views right here. I could include this hill up here, and I think that would be worth it. It's a real cute hill. And make a trail that goes up to there. There isn't, I don't think views are that important for what I'm imagining initially. I mean, I could cut some trees and open some view and stuff like that. I think having it just be here would be good enough. I could definitely bulldoze a road at the base of the hill and then down to here, and then that would allow for parking. In particular, parking spaces for people who are vending. So they don't even have to move their stuff. I know of a fair that I like quite a bit, actually. It's a great fair, but everybody has to park in one spot, haul their shit to another spot, and that adds because then they have to haul it back, 2 trips of hauling shit that seem inconvenient. And so even in this spot here, which I mostly have ignored, I mean, I know what the long-term plan for it is, but I haven't thought I would use it sooner rather than later. But that would be an amazing way for me to meet people. Because I don't like to go out much. I don't like to go out in uncontrolled settings. The pandemic still is with me, I was able to avoid it just because of how I live out in the forest. This would be a whole project, though. And I could even, invite some people here to help me do that if they were interested. I have the space, and we could set up temporary housing out here. Eventually buildings and stuff can go places, but for now, I mean, I could just put in temporary buildings, like tents and things, and then have places people can pull their car. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Pull their car in, and then they just sell out of their vehicle, or they dump their stuff right there, or they put their table out in front of it or whatever, and make it all highly walkable. And it is sloped, which is not bad as long as it's connected with flat trails and roads that go through it. And I've got the main one here, which is fine. And then I thought a lot about where I can put other ones. There's a loop over there I can make. And then you just have to make little pocket spots where people can park. And then in some cases plant hedges where you don't want people to walk through it. And so this would be a great area to experiment with, because I've got another 13 acres over there that I want to develop in a similar way. But the nice thing is that this is really close to the entry. In fact, let's walk over the entry. I would have to improve the entry, and perhaps even, it's already pretty good, My concern is that cars might, I like one-way roads a lot, but I don't even think that's a big problem. I think that I have another spot out here I could put another gate, and then that gate could go down to a different road that goes in, and then I could have an in and an out road if I wanted to. That doesn't even have to happen right now. I could invite this fair I like, the whole fair. I can invite them all out here. I could have a picnic just for vendors and say, let's check the space out, and invite vendors I like. Although I don't think there's any I don't. And then here, between here and that other road that goes down and then over, somewhere there would be a connecting road. Well, I mean, I've already got one, but I don't like it. So I can ignore the roads that exist as they are. Those are desire line roads, and they aren't really where I would necessarily want a road to be. This entry road right here, I would be tempted to well, there's a lot of this. It's real. See, I make everything so fucking complex that I don't do anything. That's okay. I mean, there's worse things than thinking about stuff before you do them, I guess. But not if it keeps you from doing stuff. I can create parking out on the road here. I don't know that I want to do that. I might want to rent or buy a piece of property across the road over there. Out here, this is the gate. Out here, I've actually got a really nice wide entryway. And this can be improved. I can flatten out this area in here, leave this tree here. It's fine right there. And there's plenty of wide entry here, so turning radius isn't a problem. I can clean up some branches. I could even put some plants in here that will take years to develop anyway. And then probably tighten up the entryway. I don't know. There needs to be a long-term plan. But across the road here is a field, right? And that would be really weird land to buy, but it's not used for anything and wouldn't be very expensive, especially there's probably an agreement I could make with the owners of it where we could put an entry into it. Basically, I'm thinking parking. So I could start a tiny little experimental festival right here and not make a promise that it continues, not even make it monthly. And have a cost to enter, and then give away tickets to people I like. Vendors, maybe charge them 10 pesos, maybe charge them nothing. Offer that they can camp there if they want. Maybe later. I mean, I could slowly develop it, I guess. You can tell from the way I'm talking about it, and I'm paranoid. I'm frightened about the idea of having people coming into the property and doing anything. You can kind of see the sunrise over there. That's nice. Red sun just coming up. There's a lump here because a bulldozer did some stuff. Putting parking out on this road, I guess I don't want to do because then it's public parking. And so making an agreement with the landowners over here would be very, very interesting. Although then, because I'd be tending to invest in it, then I'd want to plant trees and do things. I'd rather just buy it, even though there's some liens on that land that make it difficult to directly own. So there's actually 2 big lots over here, like really big, that I would love to get. those are actually worth it. Because I could. See, I always make things too big. I mean, for now, you know, just set up some fire pits in a few places to park. But then again, it wouldn't take me that long to sketch up at least the roads. And I didn't have to do them now. I just have to know where they go, so I don't do things like plant fruit trees where a road's going to go later. And I could start planting nopales and other things and set up big hedgerows along this whole southern area. That's for security, just to get some control over the space. All right, so that makes sense. So the order of events is drop the design and well, a fire pit's not as important as a barbecue because I want to have daytime events. I don't want to start with nighttime ones. But of course, you know, being able to offer someone a full night in the forest has a lot of value because then they get the full day there. And offering someone 2 nights would be pretty impressive. And I could pick where I'm going to put buildings and then know where I can put some smaller temporary buildings, or I can put the first part of those buildings, because buildings can evolve, right? You can build part of it, but know what your long-term plan is. And then clearing it out, I don't know. I mean, I've waited years for this to grow over. So it's tempting not to clear too much out. I mean, I could put cows in here and they would clear it out for me. But do I really want that? I don't think I do. A lot of these trees are doing really well in here. And there's a lot of small pines in this area. I like the idea of leaving those there. We can always wait till they get bigger and harvest them. But, so what's my order of events? List of potential uses. Design, which is mainly roads, and then what goes along with the roads after that are more flat spots. Fire pits. Parking spots for cars and vans, and rate each one on how private or not it is. Perhaps create parking. Well, see, I want to handle parking over there, but I don't have that land, so would I want a parking spot for vehicles that aren't being used? There's the ravens. You can't even walk through here. I think, just to begin with, one of the land, I mean, okay, there's two land things that should happen right away. And that is kill all of this plant. And there's one other plant that I don't see around here. Oh, there's a little bit of it. But get rid of that too. That's a no-brainer. And then burn that shit. Burn it or dump it somewhere and compost it. It really doesn't matter. Have a secret back area, because there is a building down there that could be actually excellent, especially for nighttime people, where that area could support this area. This is good. This is good. Let's walk down this way. But there's a whole house, and so for people staying over, particularly during winter months, that gives them a warm place to be in the evening. And that house has been used that way before. I think only like 2 people have ever even slept in that house in the 20 years I've been here. the road that goes down here. All this wood here can get harvested and can be available. I'm liking this idea. A picnic. God, fucking pine needles are slippery. That's annoying. All right, so order of events was design, cleanup, or cleanup and design, really, because cleanup would help you see the design better. I do have this entire road here, which doesn't really quite go where I want it, but I don't think it's bad. It's the Desire Line Road. It's where people would want a road, and I think it is okay. The road out there is public. The road in here is private, and for now it's dirt, but you can't get up it during the rainy season, so that's difficult. All of the hawthorns here can get grafted onto. I'm liking this. And I'm liking including that little one over there. And then the next thing to put in would be a sauna. And bathrooms. I need composting toilets pretty much all over the place, usually associated with a building. And so, actually, I have a whole different area I picked out that I paid more attention to, and then I think is a better area to develop in some ways. But for people I don't know, people I don't want to get even close into my area, this would be the better place to develop. And in fact, down here, there's a flat spot that I've even thought of as I could make a plaza level flat spot. It's not flat now, but it could be flattened. And then I could run the road, because right now it goes right down through where that plaza would be. And I could even set that plaza up eventually for access from the road. I don't know. I'm just making things so complicated now. But the advantage of that is not doing it wrong. Because I hate it when things are designed in a dumb way, that they're evolved instead of designed. And I realize the flaws of design, okay? I know that you can't be correct. You will make mistakes. But guess what? Letting it just evolve is a certain mistake. Oh, clear this plant out of here too. This is a type of acacia, and it just grows everywhere. We could cut it all down and it'll still come right back. It'll come right back where I just cut it. So it's not like it damages anything to cut it. And here's more branches out here. I'm liking this idea because it's so separate. So toilets. Okay, so wait, design, roads, lake. There's a place I want to put a lake down there. And there is no place up there to put a lake. There's a place I can make a moister spot, and at least it would be a more productive, interesting garden, I suppose. Yeah, the horse idea is tempting, because they would clear this out pretty quick. But there's a lot of native plants in here that I like and that the cows would eat, and I don't want them to do it. There's baby black cherries over here everywhere. There's baby everythings that they would just obliterate. So the answer to that is no. That should not happen. Do you have a view up here? Not really. Should I clear one? I don't think so in this case. It's just not a view spot, you know? And then, there's plants like this one that doesn't seem very important. But I don't even think we should cut those out. Where the hell am I? I thought they were supposed to be the house over there. But maybe it's down below somehow. And then a lot of it's slopey. Even this could be divided up because it's big enough. Like that house I mentioned has a sauna now. It has a wood-fired sauna, which is not the way I want it to be. I want a solar sauna because wood-fired saunas suck. They don't have to suck, but they do, mostly. We could make a Temescal or something, or a sweat lodge. But, alright, so I'm up here. There used to be a stone circle up here somewhere. There's a cool tree over there. All of this would be way simpler. Like this whole area only has plants I don't like. So we could just obliterate them. I mean, except for the oak tree and that one over there, whatever the heck it is. It's not a bad plant. Actually has pretty flowers part of the year. But this shit, this one's not even alive. It's just a dead, annoying plant in the way. And then the idea of the second gate, I don't know about that. Well, I kind of like it. That would allow for 2 one-way roads approaching that gate, that set of gates, and then a gate house that controls those gates. It is viewable from the road, so a line of topped off, I mean a whole section of hedgerow, topped off cedars, everything all along the south side, like, and make it wide, you know, make it really wide, maybe with a trail between it, plan for a wall in the middle, you know, just totally block that entire section. This is like ultimately all the way to the top. It's goddamn, it's maybe 350 meters. That's a long way, but we don't have to build all that. We can define it, plant it, and I guess if there's going to be a real wall, which there should be, I mean, it's tempting to bulldoze a single road all the way down on the interior, just straight down, and that, I don't know, it's tough to know these things. The one the wiggly road that goes down the middle of this, the problem is it's in a gully, and I don't want the water to flow downhill on that, and so it's actually a reason to sculpt, level it, make ponds, have overflows, like, and then have walking all the way up it. It is a really good way to walk up there. On the other hand, you know, I could have walking along this ridge, which actually makes perfect sense. I like that idea. 2 trails, one of them going one direction, one of them going the other, that go all the way up and down this whole ridge. That's pretty brilliant. Maybe. I don't know, I can't make those decisions. And then for building spots, I mean, it's really hard to think that far out. The thing is, nothing I've mentioned so far limits building spots. I mean, the roads would affect it, but the way you design where a road goes, it would be better to design for that. The buildings are flexible, and all the buildings should be built into slope. That allows for composting toilets easier. God, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Let's walk back up to what my original goal was, which was just to be able to invite a few people over. And I guess, I mean, the thing is, any work you do might be the wrong work, and I've occasionally done the wrong work. I've had, you know, people clear stuff out that then later doesn't matter. And I think definitely bulldozer work would be good early on, because even if I invited over, 10 cars worth of people, then they still have to have a place to park that isn't stupid. And I've been to parties where the parking wasn't planned well and people are just parking in dumb spots and blocking each other in, and somebody has to move their vehicle. Colossally dumb design. Yeah, all this shit down here, this can wait. This is beyond what I am currently thinking of. The temporary structures are definitely relevant because they allow me to start something without getting locked into any particular design. There is a bulldozer connection to another road up there that would be helpful. In that case, I'd want to put the fence on this side of it. The gate, and therefore a fence. Or would I? No, I wouldn't. I would put it up that way and one over there. That allows for a circular flow within this spot here. I gotta name this spot too, although increasingly I don't want to name spot one thing. Name the event. Don't name the place. Yeah, see, this is already flat up in here. And it's got that area over there that's connected. And if I put the gate on the other side of this thing, then now, as far as clearing off this shit, I think machines are better for that, like weed whackers. I have a weed whacker that actually has a circular saw as a blade. So we can just cut through all this crap, pile it up, and then wait for the early part of the rainy season and burn it. See, all this is really nice in here. And I guess the mild slope that it has, this is really flat right here. The mild slope that it has is really not a problem. As long as the trails that connect it are all level, and then we make small level spots all within it. All right, so gate over there. Surprisingly, a gate here. After a bulldozer makes a road that goes over there and goes down that way. Don't use the hill right away, but have a plan for it. And even just right now, there would be parking enough for, if we cleaned it up, there would be parking enough for 10, 20 vehicles. Not in one spot, but that's okay. I actually prefer to have distributed parking because my longer term goal is parking and then camping next to it. So I think that's all I got. And then where would I put a composting toilet right away? Well, it's always good to be near a toilet. And I can always put in pea gardens wherever I want. And those can be mobile. I think building mobile pea gardens would be brilliant. Although if somebody really had to poo, they'd go to a pea spot and then they would poo in the pea spot, which would fuck shit up. Because people will do anything bad they can possibly imagine. It's just how it is. So where do they go? Well, I don't really like that people can see down this road. It does squiggle a little bit. That's good. It squiggles. So where could I put a building in here that wouldn't be seen from the road? Well, actually I could put it over here and plant around it. I like that. And I like to build on slopes. This used to be 2 roads right here. It went all the way up to here. So I think I should recover that as 2 roads. Just so that it's easier to pass people and all that. Currently it's a dip here. I don't know what I think of that. God, listen how loud that raven is. I guess I'm too close to its house. Ooh, flew away. Now it's... I think it's upset that I'm out here. I don't normally come over here at this time in the morning. Yeah, once it's cleared out of the plants I don't like, and once I know where I want people to be, and buildings. Buildings are the tough spots. We were talking about buildings, right? Well, this is an intersection right here, right? Now it's a one-way road intersection that eventually will probably be hooked up to a road over there, but for now, I don't want to start with that. Because like I said, it's a more public area, right? And so I've got a loop here, so that handles traffic here. I got a loop on down here that could, I think I should just do this loop and then plan for it to go down and to the other future gate and then hook it to the current gate for now. And then there could be an extra road by the gates. It's no big deal. I feel like I'm playing SimCity or City Skylines or something when I design this stuff. Except I'm on the ground, so I have to check all this with a GPS. But I've already thought about this for years, so nothing I'm saying here is all that new to me. But all the trees are growing back in here because we cut down a bunch of pines in this whole area. And the nice thing is that the pines, the madrones, the oaks, the capulines, they're all showing back up. Like there's just beautiful, nice trees in here. And that's going to allow me to sculpt a more human-friendly area while still having a lot of biomass. Lots and lots of biomass. And fencing is expensive. I think it's easier to not worry about that right away. Not with the kind of people I want to invite. It's not a problem. I mean, even a rope as a gate would be fine. would be cool. And I could invite camping people out who have to bring all their own shit, all their own stuff. Composting toilets, well, it'd be tempting to put one out near the gate. In some ways, I don't want anything visible from the gate that's a building. But it'd be pretty hard to hide a composting toilet over there. I guess I could dig a big trench and put a composting toilet in, hidden, and then have a ramp that goes down to harvesting the stuff out. That would be pretty weird. Well, let's not think about that right now. I think the spot I was just at makes more sense. The problem is that's also a spot that I might want to change later. And so putting anything there locks me in. And I don't want to commit to a design. I'm not experienced enough, and I want flexibility. So I could put one up there on the base of that hill, have a ramp that you walk up to get to it. Putting one in here would make perfect sense, but I want to put a whole building here. On the other hand, any building should have both public and private composting toilets. One for the people who are living in and using the building, although I'm thinking a multi-use building here. But private and public composting toilets. And this road needs to get recovered, so I guess without clearing it, I can't tell. So I'm trying to figure shit out when I can't get enough information. It would make sense to have a composting toilet that that had 4 seats in it, so 2 crapping seats can be open at any given time. That gives a lot more ability than one to not have a line, right? Somebody's got to crap, you want to be able to crap. And then put pea gardens next to it and signs and instruction that says, hey, if you watch this. That's fun. I should probably practice that. I need to clear over there too. Well, all this shit needs to get cleared. I can't do it. One of my thoughts was to come out here and get some exercise this morning before it gets too warm out. Yeah. And I guess if I was going to have like van lifers here camped out for a longer period of time, that this loop down here would be the place to put them. And if I was going to already put a road over there anyway, I don't need this road to be a real road. It's going to be a walking road. So I put my road down from the gate there to where I know the other one's going to be. I need my GPS for mapping this out. Shoot that road all the way across to the lowest part on that ridge that I can. and then loop it back. That seems odd. It seems like it would make more sense to put it up here, and I would do one up here, but it would only be for getting to your camping spot and then parking it. In other words, one road is actually for more through transit, and the other one isn't. That makes sense. In fact, the way this whole ridge works, I want contour roads. This has always been the case for design, is that contour roads are what makes sense. And you can look up the book Pattern Language, A Pattern Language, I think it's called. It's a classic in architecture. God damn, look at these nice clouds up here. It is a gorgeous day out here. Yeah, I think I'm coming to conclusions here. So every X meters of elevation, and it depends on slope, right? This is something a GIS program, I need to be able to automatically program a GIS program to lay this out for me and just say, from this area to this area, I want on contour roads that are all one floor level in elevation. And then see if that's too many. The slopier it is, of course, the closer they'd be together, I guess. But even if some of those end up being walking roads or hallways even, it still makes sense. And you may later flatten more places in there or hold places between them. That's unclear. And unfortunately, I've got a property line way down there. You can't see it from here, but and I've always believed you should ignore the property line in your designs, because first of all, I want to buy that land, and second, it's just bad design. Designing for the property line makes bad decisions happen, because you want to maximize use of your property, but you can't do it correctly for human use if you've got these weird lines that don't make sense. Now, it is true down there I've considered putting just one road that's for vehicles that goes all the way down, goes across, and actually I want to put a lake above it, so I'll bulldoze out, fill that in, put a road across it all the way over to there. That is a possibility. And so, I don't think that would be that horrible. But between those two places, then, I want every other pathway and or thing to be on contour. And so that means that I could actually, let me think about this, I could measure the total elevation difference between here and here. I already know what I'm going to do, right? And there. And then the first contour line would start at that gate, and that's easy to map it out, right? I mean, you just take the GPS and stay at the same level, or you build one of those triangular things that permaculture people are fascinated with. Just use the technology, Jesus Christ. I mean, anachronisms are cute, do them, learn them, but do it the fast, easy way. So you set that up, so there's a full contour road going all the way to that gully over there. All the way over. And even, all the way over. And then even have it come back this direction. I think that's good. That's a crazy idea. That's a conclusion. That is what makes sense. And the problem is I can't see it from here. But by definition, there's going to be a level spot that ends up over here. Yeah. And wherever the hell that is, that's where that road goes. It's a flat road that goes, it does go down slightly at the gate, because there's an opportunity there, and I've already got a road up here. So I want to go down at least one floor, and I'm actually going to say 2 to 3 floors down. So now I need my GPS here. Fuck. So I measure the elevation of that gate. I find out what are, let's go with 3, because I mean this is a big important road, right? This is a major transit area for here. And these might even be wider roads than normal. These are vehicle roads. I mean, this road can be made 2-lane right in here quite easily. And then, because it's hooking into like a loop over there, a loop over there. So this is really cool. This is the right way to think about this. And I don't actually even know exactly where it will end up over there. I know spots I want over there to be the flat spots, but it doesn't matter what I want because I'm thinking with my feet. And I need to think like a vehicle. And you know, if I have to cut down some of those pines over there, that's fine. There's tons of pines over there. God, it's a beautiful day out here. All right, so I go 3 down, 3 stories down from what? From where I would put the gate, which even there it's a little lower. Well, I want to flatten all that out anyway. I want the entryway to be really flat. I don't like that it's up and down right there. A little bit, I can fill in gravel there and dirt and just make that all be at exactly the level of the current gate. So I go 3 stories down. That's easy to find with a GPS. And then all I have to do is take machete and hack out. Well, I mean, I could even put points. I could just walk down this road, put a point at the right elevation, go onto the ridge, put a point at the right elevation, and then hack that road out to make sure it's where I want it. Although it's definitely where I want it. And then I hopefully don't have to hurt this tree over here. A massive pine tree that I love. And you know, I mean, I can adjust the plan, but I really don't want to cut that pine. It's a semi-yarrow, a seed pine. Although it's got babies all around it, what do I care? I do care. It's just impressive. So anyway, so I run that way all the way. And then it's been harder for me to imagine how to run back. But I don't really have to think that much about that. One issue is that it goes up right here. And so I may have to have slope on that road coming back from there to hook it up to this road. That's okay. A little slope is not going to kill anyone. I could do it inside that gully over there. And that is tempting. But unless I pave it, the rains are going to destroy that road all the time. And I would rather have a road that, although it slopes back up here, I can design it such that it guides water into that gully, which is, I know, opposite of keyline design for permaculture. But I want to terrace it. I've already terraced parts of it. And I could even end up with a place crossing that barranca. Actually, I could do that. In fact, that's actually the goal. This road would cut all the way over to the far road over there and have a road that cuts back up on this side. That allows me to keep this spot private. It allows me to cross the barranca down there. And it allows a really cool way that I can store water, maybe with a real lake, or just a wetter spot. It doesn't really matter, you know. I could even try and seal the lower end of it and then slowly fill it in with dirt. So I could put bentonite clay and have pigs and stuff, like kind of seal that area, or even worst case concrete it. Sounds terrible. But somehow keep water in this moisture spot above it and just have an amazing garden in there. I'm liking that idea a lot. Okay, so now I know where the fucking biggest road goes and plan that as a 2-lane road. How that hooks into stuff lower than that, I don't know. We want to see it first. We could always have another gate that comes off the public road. But I want to have few public entryways and then a network within. That's the goal. So all this shit in here gets planted heavily. Even out in here. This is near a gate, right? So all the way back up to here. And really, I mean, I could even squiggle this road a little bit so you can't even see this far in through the gate. In retrospect, I would have put a gate here you can't see through. But whatever. How many gates do you need to the public road? As few as possible. But they have to be really good. Crap in my hair. Kind of obvious you'd want to use that hill up there too. Well, the problem is I want to design this whole south area. The best thing I can think of about doing this is that it allows me to create a more public space for daytime use, which has been so not my goal. But hosting people for the day is very different than hosting them for the night. For example, I don't have to put a sauna out here. I don't have to put a shower out here. I don't have to put a hotel, a dormitory, you know. So the costs really end up being bulldozer work and gates. And in theory, barbed wire fencing. But I suppose hedgerow planting would be really the cost. Because hedgerows act as really good gates. And so I think I have the ability to do that with my GPS, that I could make. Maybe I'll go get my GPS right now. What time is it? Although I can't even walk through part of these places. They're that grown over. So, although I already have GPS a part of it, I have to go look for the files. Uh, 7:17. Still pretty fucking early. So the only thing I would actually need to GPS is not the shit I've already GPSed. It would be the new road over there. And that would give me some exercise. It's still not hot out. Although it's going to get hot pretty soon until those clouds clear. That would be kind of exciting. And then how tall is a story? How tall is a roof? Well, I tend to like the idea of tall roofs. High ceilings, you know. But I think between 3 meters and 12 feet. So 10 to 12 feet would be good, because you got a floor in there, right? So therefore I'd be looking at going down 30 feet to 36 feet. And it's always better to have too much space rather than too little. Oh, that's always true, but it sounds good. I'm always trying to figure out short ways to say things that are true. But the problem is the more you shorten it, the less true it is. Because there's just too many exceptions to things. If I got a bulldozer out here, I'd want to do all the bulldozer work I want for this whole area all at once, right? I don't want to fuck around with pulling a bulldozer in and out, because they pay you for arriving and leaving. I mean, they charge you. So, but that would open up a massive area. An absolutely massive area. And yeah, bulldoze this loop. I would bulldoze up to the other road right away to connect it. And then it would make sense to bulldoze the spot up there that's already flat. Because it's all grown over is the problem. And so I can either pay some people to weed whack it, or I could bulldoze and widen it. And I think bulldozing and widening it makes more sense. And then you'd be able to get to the top of this hill again. And then I can decide which of those pines I want to deal with how, you know? Can I even get up there? I could put a trail to it again. See, I used to have a trail to it. And that would allow me to have a damn near infinite amount of space that I'd be willing to have people at right now, or sooner rather than later. With road access to here has always been a problem. For the last 20 years it's been a problem. But the road has improved radically. And I could always, if there was any income involved with any of this, like, why do I want to invite people over at all? Well, theoretically, because I'm lonely. And right, like here's what was a road. This would become a road again. And with the extra dirt that I have, by digging out that, I could actually have that dirt be pushed over here and widen this road out, because there's a gully here, and have a 2-lane road that goes that way. That would be actually make the most sense. I love one-way roads, but it's easy to make it 2-lane to here, make it 2-laned up there. I've got some extra dirt I can bring in from over there. Can I actually get through this? Maybe I can. Fuck it, let's do it. It's not that grown over. Yeah, there was a vehicle that passed through here, which helps. And the thing is, a 2-lane road doesn't have to be completely, well, the problem is a 1-lane road should be 1.5 lanes anyway. So you can actually stop your car and open your doors. So, how wide is a 1-lane road really? It's 1.5 cars wide, more or less. Yeah, that truck that went through here pushed some of this crap down. That's convenient. So, I could do this without even cutting like these trees here. I don't want to cut down those trees. They're too young. I want to leave them there. They look cool. God damn it. Fucking motherfuckers. Try to make sure I don't hack my leg up here. Yeah, there's plenty of room here for this to be a 2-lane road. This is totally worth it to go up here. And that moves everything into the south and makes my other road be more private, which I like quite a bit. This over here was already bulldozed to be a flat spot. I think I got another one up here too. The idea behind that was that somebody could park there, you know, their little van RV or something. Yeah, see, we cut some trees in here, and so you get better sun off this hill than you did before. And it's even tempting from up here, if I had a bulldozer, from the highest level of this road, to bulldoze that direction along the edge of this hill. That would be pretty cool. And again, I'd have to look at the GPS, but swing that road around as far as possible around this hill. Yeah, I'm liking that we cut these trees out of here. God damn it. And all this would be walkable again. It used to be walkable because there were so many pine trees that there was less undergrowth. And so everything was just pine needles, which is a fire hazard and biologically far less interesting. And this plant that I want to clear out of here, this one, is a pioneer species, so it's okay. I like these hawthorns right here, although these two are right in the fucking middle of the road. And they're spiky. So they get moved or they die. One of the two. Okay, so I'm here. This has been bugging me for years. What do I do in here? And I think the obvious answer is cut a road from here up to an intersection up there. We'll call it the banana intersection, because I have some bananas planted up there. And that leaves huge amounts of area on the south end. The upper part of the south end will be a little wider. Although if I'm including that house down there, really the whole thing becomes wider. Almost a little bit hourglass shaped on one side. But that makes sense. Just right here, GPS this, GPS that, and then run the bulldozer straight up it. It's not the steepest. I could, if I wanted, start the slope over there, hook that way, and then I could reduce the slope at any one individual spot. And that could be okay. I'm not a civil engineer, so it's hard for me to figure out what's smart there. It would be more road land. I guess what I could do is this, is I could calculate what is the slope from here to there using my GPS. And then if that's over like 12%, then figure out a way to start the road over there and start going up over there and then circle it around to get to over there. That would also give me a road over there that I could then hook over to the top of that hill and to the flat spot up there. That works out. And I've got plenty of other spaces everywhere to do every goddamn thing else. God damn it. Oh, fuck. This shit snaps back and hits you in the face. It's very annoying. Stop! Fuck you. Fuck you. Actually, I'm not sure if that is the best option. It's really hard to tell. And that's something you don't want to fuck up, you know? I think for now, I mean, I could wait on that other road over there. Who the fuck knows? Thing is, once you get the bulldozer out, you want to get all your work done, or a lot of it, all at once. Because I've got a road over here, but that was the one I was trying to avoid getting involved. I want this to be more private on this end. So the question is, how do I get from this good road that we just made up all the way up to there? And I don't want to go down the middle because I have plans for, I want to make like maybe a lake in there or a building. One of the two, probably a building. I've imagined that building for years, so. No, I like the idea of going where we talked about. It's going from this hook right here all the way up to that intersection, because now I've got one spot that's a major intersection, and I already know it hooks in with everything else. I mean, it is tempting though. No, there's tons of land over there. And basically what I have to do is put a barrier somewhere between what's public and what's private. And I can always end up with places that are kind of in between, right? But I want this road back here then to be a private road for a central area that is residents only. I guess that's the difference. And there'd be a gate there. You know what? I could check the elevations, but it could be I hook up to this road right up here. But then what's the big difference in going on the hook? There's a big difference. You know? The point is, a road should hook that up. And this is not the right one. And I've already got a 2-lane road going to there. I would want to hook that. No, I want to go to the bananas. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it'd be tempting to do on contour roads Like to do one on contour road through there. I don't know, man. I guess I could just write it up a couple different ways and then try and imagine it and compare it. This is another case where a GIS program could do this for me. It could provide me with alternatives, you know, alternative options. I think in here, even whether it's private or public, it doesn't matter, that we could see this as a 2-lane road. But then is a 2-lane road 2.5 cars wide? Probably. So a 2-lane road would actually be more efficient than a 1-lane road, because you have to have room on either side to open your doors in any case. You have to have a half a car on either side of whatever you do. So that means a 2-lane road is 2.5 lanes wide. A 1-lane road is 1.5 lanes wide. And then up here, I know I can do a 1-lane road. And in theory, all of this is going to get flattened out to fill in that whole gully, making an enormous flat spot. If that was the case, and we need to go down somewhere anyway, we would go down from right here. And this is not the banana spot. This is the spot with no name. But in that case, I would pick my end point down there, which is still the hook. So we go from here to the hook, straight down. It's not that far. And I mean, do we curve it at all? It does end up in the gully ultimately. And by going across it, what does that do to water flow? It ends up in the gully anyway. But it doesn't matter. None of that water is going to get wasted. I mean, a lot of times the permaculture rules you read about are really limiting, and there's just factors that they're not considering about why you would put a road somewhere. Well, then the other question is, do I go on contour down? And even hooking around slightly? Maybe. I guess it depends on the GPS reading I get on what the elevation is. That's what we talked about when we were down there. What is the slope of it? Because I never want to go, this is a civil engineering thing I asked online. You don't want to get like a 15% slope is like the maximum. And I don't like being at the maximum of anything. I like that. So I could go here down to there where it starts to get steeper. And so it'd be a little bit of slope here. And then cut that way so that the average slope all the way down around to the nook was 12 degrees at most. That would do it. And then the reason to take all this dirt over here and move it into that gully is to make a flat spot. On the other hand, it may be that I want to dig all that out down there and put a building there. And if this is already going to be public here, which it kind of has to be, then why wouldn't I just make this road all the way down public? Because then I don't have to worry about this weird road we're talking about. I don't have to do my slope there because I have a slope here. Oh, because I don't have a road that comes up. I need 2 roads that come up on the south side of the property. Okay? And one of them is lower than the other. So it's tempting, since I talked about putting a road across the eastern part of that hill over there, the downslope side, to just dig this road here, maybe start it, just slightly lower. What's a meter difference? Big fucking deal. And shoot it all the way across that hill. Because it's hard for me to imagine going wrong with a contour road, especially when it's a 1-lane road and you're going to widen it. You can fill in the nooks, the gully parts, to widen them, and you can cut above the gully to fill it, depending on things. So is that really the better decision? Is just always dig contour. Almost always dig contour. The exceptions being like at the gate, where I want specifically that one gate to serve for a lower level as well. And that's really a border problem. I'm doing it because it's at the property line, and I don't want to have as many gates. I've got a shitty public road out there. And doing this would allow it this massive interior. I mean, we can put trails anywhere we want, right? Oh, but then to get the dual roads on this end, this contour road then could have a spoke that hooks it to the upper part over there if I needed to, which I don't. But down below, I definitely have to hook it up. And so somewhere along that slope, it would go down to the hook. Okay, so that's my fundamental problem, is I have to hook up to the hook. These are not mutually exclusive. I could do this road right here, this intersection, could go on contour, opening up a huge amount of really awesome land out there. And then I could still go straight down to there. And whether that's smart or not, all depends on what the GPS says. I guess I could walk back and get my GPS. And that would by definition open up everything I want to get opened up. And I mean, if I did this hook road as a 2-lane road, then this road functionally would be private most of the time, or a more private section. And I could open it up if needed, if there was ever traffic, right? Because, I mean, you got to plan it as if there was going to be a whole town here. This is one of the problems with how towns have often been designed, is that they were designed for foot traffic or horse traffic. And so the roads are too fucking narrow. And they should never be narrow. Now, we don't have to make them big now. But this is one thing, like when we planted, I thought a lot about this. Like, you say to somebody, hey, plant stuff along the edges of that road. Well, they'll plant it like a meter out, right? But the thing is that we may want to pull out for a car. We may want to do who knows what. And so I should do things in terms of car widths, whatever that means, because I got a fat car, a big van. So what's a car width mean? I should measure that. But that means that, like a hedgerow, Well, in this case, I would put the hedgerow way over there in a gully because it's going to get more water anyway. That's a whole nother case. But, don't put really valuable, cool plants right next to the road. Put them like minimum one car length, not width, away so that someone could pull off the road and you could have a single parking spot there. Like down here somewhere, right up in here, I made a spot like that where a vehicle could pull into that and it's flat. So, fuck, that's almost a spot. Right here I could hook into the hook and then that would be the public space up there. I mean, that gets rid of, it's goofy though. It's very goofy. I mean, at that point you would want to make the hook less hook-like. It's doable. But I mean, I could just do the road right here, skipping this little sharp triangle thing, because sharp triangles make sharp turns. I could go down here in the direction of the hook and then bulldoze a big flat spot over in there, and that would make the road be straighter to get across the hook and then down. And this is already easy to make into 2-lane nests. And then up there, there's already a maze of one-way roads anyway. Too many options, man. Way too many options. Oh. I mean, the thing is, I guess I just make a bulldozer list and then, I mean, the other option then is to just say, it's impossible to make a fucking decision. I like that one though, because it uses an existing road, although where an existing road is irrelevant. They'll just grow over and they'll all make good trails anyway. So another option would be to GPS this spot and then figure out, well, should I just make a road that goes all the way down there? This is also why I need to drone map the entire property. See, drone maps can see what you can't. And even me with my GPS, I love GPSing and walking around. And it's not good enough. You can't really see a place that way. This is already nice and flat in there. All these baby trees excite me so much because we've cut the pines that were there, and this is going to allow me to sculpt into it tiny little flat spots for people to use and have shade. Because especially this time of the year, you want shade, right? And I can top the trees off. The reason for that, well, in the case of the pines, is because they're going to grow tall, fall over, and squish shit. Pines are extremely annoying in that regard. I mean, they're fine trees, but there's a gully here. That's the big issue, is I have to cross the gully. So, and I can fill a gully by bulldozing above it. And above the above spots in this gully don't have anything important. So why wouldn't I just dig a big lake there or a building site? It's a great spot for a building site too. And then, I'm liking that idea. This is ridiculous. So from this spot, I would connect over there. One nice thing is that has very low road footprint, and I don't like road footprint. And it's got a flat spot below it. So I go from this weird looking tree here There's plenty of space here for a turning radius. and then I can get back to 1-lane roads. Well, no, I can't. Not unless I give up that one, and I don't want to give up that one, but fuck it. The thing is that, I mean, I think like a hermit, right? I think like I want all the land to be for me. But the whole point is to share it somehow. And so the emotional needs or wants that I have are not as important as engineering it to have less road footprint with maximum access. And a bunch of other rules I'm not thinking of at the moment. But so there's nothing wrong with that road up there going on contour all the way across that hill. And again, something we're calling roads. Don't think road when I say it. I'm not talking paved. I'm not talking squishing the land. I'm talking about something that's a flat space that you can get through if it doesn't grow over, which it will. But if it's being used and maintained, it won't. And you could have roads that, a trail that a car could go on, but it's not really made for a car. But, I mean, that's how wide a trail should be. A trail should be wide enough for two people to walk side by side in a comfortable way, which is a 1-lane road. That's that distance. You could have it be narrower, but, you want to gesticulate and stuff. Gesticulate. Somehow that sounds dirty. So but then if I was already going to give up this road, then why do I need this Nook road at all? No, it's still important to plan for that because, like, if I was to put a building there, then you would want access to it. And again, a road is a trail for now. The term I'm using of road means trail. And we want to put buildings in shitty spots that aren't flat. So, like, all this area in here is really nice, and I wouldn't want to put a building there. It's a really nice area. It's barely sloped. I need to get a tiny bulldozer too. A tiny bulldozer would let me do delicate work of land sculpting, and I could try things out a little bit. I could, because if you get a bulldozer, it's just like destruction. What am I looking at over there? Like, where is that exactly? Because this road should hook into the upper part of that loop for the gate. Or it could hook into the main road. Actually, it should hook into the main road, probably. No, I already said it was going to be two lanes over there. And I'm not expecting a lot of traffic. If I do it the right way, and if I have a car culture, this is very dangerous to think of as an architect or a designer, is to imagine that people will be any different than what they are. But I'm already winning simply because, get out of there. Hey, you, get out of there. This little dog is going to get bit by a rattlesnake someday, I swear. I'm amazed it hasn't died. Get out of there. Hey! You don't care what I think. I got to prepare myself for her death because I'm not going to be real happy about it. I guess there is the idea of a 2-lane road with pullouts, but this area used to have a fire pit. It was real nice. Get people chatting around the fire or singing around the fire. Now there's a rotted totem pole, and it's all grown over. And ultimately I could fence in this whole area as a separate property. There's already, well, if this is going to be a public road, Well, that's one thing I have to figure out is fencing. Like, I mean, there's hedgerows is one thing, and that's great for wildlife and security. Green fence, you know. But I need actual fences made of like concrete block with a razor wire on the top. There has to be spots that are separated. And I already know I want to put a building down here because it's a good spot for one. We were bulldozing that, but we never finished it. So it would be nice, I guess, this year. It's 2024 now. It would be nice if I could get enough funds so that I could hire people to weed whack, like with my hardcore weed whackers. Cut the hell out of any plants I don't like where they are. Opening up trails to everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but deciding like, although bulldozers really are the best way to build a trail. I mean, they make one that lasts for a very long time. And okay, so there was that loop trail. I'm gonna go get my GPS. And it's not hot out yet. And I think just a few points might allow me, you know, I get scraped up when I walk through the bushes, but I could machete my way around, and that would open up this area for me that has been off my radar, that I would be willing to invite people to, that I could put up housing, you know, temporary housing, tents and things, and essentially civilize that whole area. I could still redo the hook road, and that would give me a loop still. My gate goes then here somewhere. Maybe even as far back as, maybe even as far back as way over there. I mean, at that point I've got, if I really include all of this and I set up like not secure gates, I don't have to secure them right away, but then I've got that house down there that's available. I've got this massive amount of land. I could measure that on Google Earth or Google My Maps, and I could measure how many massive amounts of acres that is. I could do some prescribed burns. That might help as well, just to clear things out. Although, I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, it would be good. And if I'm going to do it, I do it now, not later. I could actually bulldoze the road that goes down from this road to somewhere in there and then cuts across. I know where it would be. Is that worth it? Make like a 4-story building in there that goes into the gully. Probably even crosses it. Oh, I know which tree that is. That's not that far away. That'd be an obvious spot for a road right here. And once again, a road becomes a trail anyway. It's not that bad. I'm so hesitant, you know. I don't feel like getting that GPS right now. And then that lower road on the property line is just a crazy idea. But totally doable, I think. Fuck, this is hardcore shit. Bulldozing is so scary. I waited 9 years. I thought for 9 years before I hired a bulldozer. Because I was afraid I'd fuck it up, and I didn't fuck it up. It's turned out great. I don't think there's any roads I put in that I wouldn't have put them in where they're at. It's worked out fine. I mean, some of the roads are difficult. Oh. And I guess the reason not to do a prescribed burn is because I like some of the plants that have come in. I mean, I've already had my pioneer species come in. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of the pioneer species and let the other ones grow. Because, like, I don't want to kill this one. This is pretty. Those pretty flowers. And that might die in a forest fire. It would come back too, but if I do a prescribed burn, I'm going to end up killing secondary plants. And I probably won't even be able to kill most of the pioneer species. And they'll just come back anyway. So, damn, that is a hardcore way to think about this stuff. And then there's other sections of property over here. I guess it's the question of how to divide up the property correctly. In this case, I'm trying to figure out what is the south side. Where's the border? And the answer to that is that there's multiple borders. Yeah. And then at every gate that I imagine, and I could take my map and start adding gates to it. At every gate, I build a house that controls that gate. And it would be even tempting to put in electric gates, even though I'm preparing for the fall of civilization. So putting an electric gate with a motor seems kind of dumb. Actually, it is kind of dumb. I mean, the question is civilization going to fall in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Even at 20 years, I'm going to have to replace the motor on the gate, and it's still going to annoy me. And it's going to be built wrong if it's built to be an electric gate. So the gates should be built in a medieval fashion. You know, there should be building on either side of it with a big wall. God, this is growing in so nice in here. Look at all these madrone trees. When I moved here, there was some madrone trees, but they were being shaded out by the rapidly growing pines. So now they're everywhere, and there are tons of them have seeds, so they're making more of them. And that's one of my to-do items, is to learn how to collect the seeds. I guess you're supposed to put them in a blender, which just sounds wrong to me. Sounds it would smash the seed, but anyway, there's all these methods of reproducing madrones, and I should be doing massive madrone reproduction because they're a relatively rare tree around here, and they're super pretty, and they're even edible. You know, they don't produce a ton of fruit, but sometimes they're called strawberry trees. So they're just an inherently cool tree. Like here's one right here. Look at how cool it is. It's all curvy and stuff, and I've got more than one species of them. My estimate's 4, but I tend to estimate everything at 4. Like I know I've got more than one kind of oak. I've got 2 that are easy to ID, and then I made up that there's probably a couple other variations. And then some hawthorns produce fruit, some don't. I've got at least 4 kinds of identifiable pines because they have different types of needles and different types of cones. So those are easier to tell. So even after deciding what the south side is, I still have to decide what are the sections within it, and then do those need to be walled or not. The bigger wall I put around everything, well, there's ways to think about walls. One is the public area needs to be walled off. And that even needs to be walled off from the road, because there's the actual public that isn't invited, and then there's the invited public who should be walled off from various other sections that are residents only, where you can only go there if you were invited. But even the south side should be walled off, parts of it should be walled off from each other. Maybe, although I think the whole south side, it would be okay to just have the whole thing. No, that's not true, because there's a spot way at the top. I even thought about living up there. It's going to have a nice view, maybe, and it would have different road access, and that's a different location. And so there are reasons to separate off different parts of the south side, which is a great reason to have one entryway and then interior entryways into these other spots. Like this one over here is its own spot. The one down there with the house on it right now is its own spot. This over here is its own spot. And so that means that they should all be walled in. And I don't mean walls right next to the road, because those look ugly. You know? When you walk around on a road, because I want to really reduce car use, I want to have more carts and things like that, and I want to have shared vehicles so that they're, you know, like, I mean, I could have a 15-passenger van that drives through the bosque, you know, the forest, and that seems dumb. I'd rather have rickshaws, you know, electric assist rickshaws. That would make a lot of sense, actually. Anyway, but there's one spot here at least, and really there's two. Or no, I would just go with having this all be one. The bigger the space, the better. That allows me to have larger buildings that serve larger areas. I like that a lot. And then this is where I actually live up here currently. But I shouldn't even think of that as my house. But design it as whatever it's going to be. And every different area could have a camping spot. Every different area could have, you know, its own chickens and its own vivero for any extra water. Because we're going to, if we do rain capture, in most cases we're going to have extra water, right? And so using that water well would be really smart. Oh, look, my jacaranda turned purple up there. That's great. Oh, that jacaranda doesn't turn purple very much. How big of an area should be walled in? Well, if any given building should ideally house like quite a few people, that's one calculation I need to do, is do the formula for rain capture off of a roof and how much roof area is needed per person to capture as much water as they need. And of course we want to reduce need to be very low, but we don't want to suffer either. So that's the calculation I got to figure out. Feed the dogs over here. Well, I hope you enjoyed walking around looking at land. The decisions about land use are really important, and most of them are not made very well. So the good thing is that I got years to think about it. All I need to do for now is make a few spots to park cars that aren't annoying, a fire pit, some places to camp, maybe a barbecue, places to put tents. Oh, and a toilet. I gotta have a toilet. Actually, toilet is probably number one. Because, you know, you don't want to be digging trenches and pooing in trenches. little kitchen. But those can be portable. Those can be made anywhere. I could actually build a portable chicken coop. That would be worth it. Make one that had cyclone fencing. What's it called? Oh, it's called cyclone fencing, I think. But it had pieces that you could then stick together, and a little warm spot in it. Double entry so no dogs get in. That would be interesting. Like if I wanted to develop an area, what would I put in as an initial set of buildings? You know, portable housing, obviously tents and stuff. And those can be pretty fancy. They can have, you know, beds and stuff and, you know, glamping level housing. I like it. We'll see what happens.